Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of United Talks Podcast. And today, if you're joining us for the first time, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as relates to all things Manchester United. We're going to quickly run through the presser review. So welcome to the presser review show. Put your comments in the comment section, put your thoughts in the comment section so we can actually, dissect and all of that. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. Manchester United head coach Michael Carrick says that Bruno Fernandes has been and continues to be a fantastic signing for the club. And yeah, this is just kind of like, you know why we do these things. We want to get a sense of what is going on at the club and everything in between. So let's quickly run through it. We want to also gauge the temperature of the club and everything. So yeah. Anyway, 31-year-old signed from Sporting in January 2020, and recently topped 200 goal involvements for the Reds. Carrick stopped short of getting involved in where Bruno ranks in our all-time list of midfielders during his press conference ahead of the away trip to Newcastle United, but was only shy in talking up the Portugal international's impact. He was not shy. He also answered questions on squad fitness, the Magpies boss Eddie Howe, the grappling in the penalty area, and more. And that's something we need to talk about because it's getting worse and worse and worse by the day. We talked about Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire. With regards to that question, injuries and return, he says Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire went off. This was the question that was asked. Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire went off on Sunday. Are they available for tomorrow? Or today as a time of recording. Michael Carrick replies and says, we're hoping so, we're working towards it. They weren't feeling too good, but still a little bit of time to the game, and we'll just have to see how they feel. So we'll obviously give them every chance. So Michael Carrick, good question from the pressers. We're also gonna try and read the press conference. But yeah. Michael Carrick already said this in his post-match that it was illness. Both players were ill. But then the journalist went on to still ask, is it illness? Neither of them were injured or anything like that. And he says, no, it wasn't injury. No, it's just both of them weren't feeling too good. So yeah, it's one of those things really. But we'll just have to see how they are today and tomorrow morning. And the next question was, basically this press conference related to the game. This question is related to the game. Next question was just in terms of the team, which has obviously been outstanding. When you were here with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the team did very well, and then there was a drop-off towards the end of the season. When you were at Middlesbrough, you also did really well at the start, and then the results didn't match that at the end of the season. You didn't achieve what you wanted to. Is there any way of, guarding against that? That's a very intelligent question, if I must say, based on you saw a pattern with Michael Carrick under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a pattern with Michael Carrick as a manager at Middlesbrough. Yeah, that's good. And speaking of Michael Carrick's experience, I came across a post by Paul Scholes, which I'll probably reply to, and Paul Scholes was saying stuff about Michael Carrick. Yeah. That's how you know the knowledge base of these ex-minor players. But I'm going to leave it at that because I'll analyze it and break it down. Football's a tough game to get results anyway. So I think, of course, you're learning. I learn. I'm always learning. And things that as you go through, you could maybe have done a little bit different, done a little bit better, not specifically at those times, just in general, really. So there's a lot of context, and it depends on the players, what the games look like. There's so many things coming into it. I think it's not much guarding against it. I think it's just living in the moment and staying in the moment. Keep grounded and down to earth in terms of understanding what it takes to win games. And I've said this since I came here, and not getting carried away. That's basically, I am not getting carried away. We certainly won't get carried away. I think you've got to feed off the confidence and understand that runs of wins are hard to come by, but we are hungry for more for sure. And we need to try and make that as long as it can last and stay consistent. Yeah, this is, two questions that have been very, very interesting. And basically, you see a pattern, you talk about the pattern, and it becomes a thing of a conversation based on, okay, how can we mitigate against some of these things that we've noticed, which is really, really fine. Now, the next question, which seems to be kind of like an intelligent one too as well, based on the direction of the question, and maybe just to kind of get Michael Carrick's take on things. And I would say this 3/3, question, because it's related to the problem we're facing in the league right now with regards to the set piece defending and set piece attacking. And yeah, the journalist asked, sorry to take it back to a subject that's been hot this weekend. Facts. Grappling inside the penalty area, has it gone too far, and do you think anything can be done about it? Just to get Michael Carrick's take, and the truth is, I look forward to how Michael Carrick is going to respond to this. Basically, he said, I think it's gone too far, yeah. I think it wasn't long ago we were told you couldn't really lay your hands on anyone in the box. When it wasn't good, and it was going good, it was going to be stamped out and clamped down on, and it crept in. It's gone stronger, and I think obviously the success of set pieces, corners in particular, probably in terms of being able to put so many bodies close together, has made more teams do it because the success rate is so high. So it is understandable why so many teams are trying it and doing it. In terms of the game, in terms of as a game, it doesn't feel that we've got that balance right. So I don't know what there is to do about it. It's not for me to decide. Very smart answer to the question. Not for me to decide really, but in the meantime, we've got to deal with what is in front of you, and as it's allowed, then you've got to play to it. I mean, Ruben Amorim mentioned something like this as well. We have to use, I think that was after the Arsenal game, the first game of the season. He says we have to use what we have and take advantage of what is right in front of us right now. And I mean, Michael Carrick just gave an answer. He says, okay, basically, it's gone too far. It was going to be stamped out, but it wasn't stamped out, so it's gone too far. But in the end, I'm not the one to make the decision. I don't want to have so much of a say in this. I just want to say, if it's allowed, then we have to play to it, and we have to, deal with what's in front of us. And that's a smart way to answer the question. Next question was in regards to the game itself, with regards to Newcastle. So we're going to 4/4 right now, like 4/4 good press conference. You're obviously in a confident mood right now. You, the players, everything. The fans talk about Champions League qualification. It's very much in your own hands, isn't it? You've got 10 games to go, and you've got to play like the likes of Aston Villa, Chelsea, and Liverpool. That's big. That's a big plus for you, isn't it? And Michael Carrick says, basically, here again, we're not looking too far ahead. And that's another smart response. Yeah, we have confidence, but we have to also not get carried away, because he said that multiple times. He says in terms of games and where we're trying to get to, I think it's really important that we stay present and keep our minds on the job. Facts. Truth is, no need to look further ahead like the likes of Aston Villa, Chelsea, Liverpool. When they come, we'll face them. We have to face what's in front of us, and that is a dwindling Newcastle. Right? He now says it's incredibly tough, a tough place to go to. It's a tough place to go, so we're full to go to get a result at Newcastle. Been there many times, and he says been there so many times, and I know it well, so we're fully aware of that. We haven't had conversations about it. We're not looking too far ahead. We understand where we are, and I think it was good. It was a good step for us this weekend there, and there will obviously be a good boost that comes from that, whether that's energy wise, whether that's confidence wise, and just the total belief from it. But it doesn't mean that we can start ifs and buts further down the line. just kind of pushing it away. And that's some smart response. But then I still give the question a 4/4. In as much as I don't like the way it was worded, but it's like, okay, in regards to the Newcastle game itself, you're obviously in a confident mood right now. What do you think about the game? That could have been a better question to put out. He now says it doesn't mean that, this is what Michael Carrick says, it doesn't mean that we can start ifs and buts further down the line. I think we're in a good position and I think we've earned it. The boys have earned it and we've got to try to make the most of it from now on in. That's a good question. So 4/4. Question number 5 is you now have the best form of any team in the league since you took over. Have you surprised yourself with what this team's achieved, given that it's the same group of players that were here before? I'm trying to understand. Have you surprised yourself? Yeah. This one, I'm going to give it a half mark. So it's a 4.5 over 5, basically. He said, I wouldn't use the word surprised. Good answer. I think you always strive to win games, and as I've just said, basically putting them back online, right? Telling them this is what I've said. As I've just said, every game is winnable. I think both teams will go into it and think the same thing. And if we keep that and go step by step, try and be consistent with it, and then we'll feel we give ourselves a chance in every game. Coming in at the start, it was quite quickly one game at a time again. And I think that's the only way. When you are in it, you are living it. And you've got to perform, and the boys have got to be in a good frame of mind to be able to put performances together. I think the only way to do it and give it and to give yourself the best chance is to stay in the moment. It's for everybody else. It's for everybody else to get involved in the discussions of what to stay in the moment, for everybody else to get involved in the discussion of ifs and buts. But the bigger picture is what we're looking at. He says it's not the focus right now, and we're just happy, right? We're happy with the way things have gone. I still think we can do certain things better, which is a really good place to come from. But winning games is a good feeling, a good habit to have, and we've got to keep staying hungry with that. That's kind of like just keeping them at bay. You talk about stuff, 4.5 over 5, basically. You talk about stuff. Have you surprised yourself? Ask questions that will make him, that will trigger his mind to give you a good response. Then the next question was with regards to deep-rooted issues at the club and so on. And so it says there were so many discussions before you came in about deep-rooted issues in the club and so on. When you've come in and you've worked with this group of players, did you see the signs in there that this run of form was possible? This question makes some sense. I was going to say it makes no sense, but when you think about it, it makes some sense. But when you say deep-rooted issues, somebody was here before and the person stamped out or stomped out or cleaned out the deep-rooted issues, the noise coming from the dressing room. Isn't it ironic that we don't get those noise again? Noise coming from the dressing room, players that were causing, that were kind of like seen as bad apples or bad eggs and all of that. They were let go, the bomb squad, Højlund, videos have been coming out, with Bruno talking to Højlund and Højlund not taking to instructions, and then players like Benjamin Sesko taking instructions and it working out within the games, Bruno taking leadership and nobody's talking about Bruno and stuff, and then you say stuff like, when you've come in, this question is, so 4.5 still over 6, right? 4.5 over 6. You've worked with this group of players. Did you see the signs in there that this run, like how? Well, again, I didn't go too far ahead about what was possible. So he brings them back again, right? At that stage, you've had to work quickly. You had to work, quickly and put things into practice and try to be fair to the players, to give them the right information and the right balance to go into the next game. That was the first thing. But yeah, listen, I know some of the players or have done more than others. I know some players have done more than others. Now, I've got to know everybody, and I think it's really good, a good group, talent-wise, ability-wise. I think the boys have shown what they can do, and then there's the balance of good habits, good behaviors, and actually looking at each other. And there's certain times we've had we had to really dig in and show that good spirit and team spirit. So I can't speak highly enough of the players at the moment. Bringing it back, basically just saying, you know what, like, did you see dip? And it's like, no, we didn't look too far ahead. He's been saying it in all the questions he's been responding. So a 4.5 over 6, basically. This question is it's just repeating the same question, just in another way. I don't know, maybe they're trying to get him to say stuff. Then this person brings us back to Bruno Fernandes. A word on Bruno Fernandes. Yet again, leading the way, spearheading goals, assists. Where does he rank for you in Manchester United folklore with all the great midfielders you've had? And is it surprising for you? Obviously, it's not surprising because we know Bruno has been doing this for more than... He came to Man United and he spent 6 years already. And before that, he was doing it at Sporting. So it's not surprising. He's been doing it season in, season out. You guys just didn't rate him. That's pretty much right. You didn't even want him to get to these numbers, right? And secondly, this is the next question he added. How much would you have liked to have played behind him in that little pocket of space? I mean, like, yeah. Okay, so I'll give this a half mark. So 5 over 7. That's pretty much what it is. Says, I'll be honest, there's not loads more I can add to what we've already talked about. Facts. About Bruno. He's been here for such a long time period of time for such a long time period of time now. So I said long time period. Woo. And had success in different ways and certainly individually, shown what he's all about in taking responsibility, showing up, being there, facing everything for the ups and the downs. I think that sums up Bruno as a character and his consistency over such a long period of time, In terms of where he ranks in club history, that's not for me to get involved in, and it's irrelevant. Facts here, man. Facts. Half mark, yeah. But what are you trying to do? Right, what are you trying to get? Michael Carrick is trying to be very polite and very straightforward. He said, but he's been a major plus and a fantastic signing from where he came in, from when he came in, and the impact he's had since he's been here. And I'm sure that will continue. Like, you look at Bruno's seasons, just look at the FOP mob rating from 2016-17 to now. Bruno has not had one bad season. Whether he will get missing in some games, but check out, he plays 35, 40, 50, 60 games per season, and he will have like 1 or 2 bad games, but then the rest of the games he's doing the Lord's work, like he's doing a good job. And the last question, this is one of the questions I'll say, okay, basically this makes it so I had 5 over 7, so I'm going to give 6 over 8. 6 over 8. A word on your counterpart for tomorrow's game. Eda Howe, a British manager who's had great success. How much respect have you got for the job he's done in recent years? This is a good question to ask, but you could also ask in relation to the game too as well, right? But yeah, I mean, it's very rare to find journalists ask questions for a long time to kind of get like a sense of what they're saying, right? He says, yeah, a huge amount of respect for Eddie Howe and his staff. I know some of them particularly well, and obviously being from there originally, so being from Newcastle, and it's something, right, I've kept a close eye on. Basically, that's what Michael Carrick has said. He's doing a great job, and the levels of success and the periods that's brought for that football club and the feeling that he's created around the whole area is incredible. So yeah, I think he's a top manager, top coach, and he will continue having success, I'm sure. So that's a pretty diplomatic, straightforward way to answer questions. What do you guys think about the press conference? Asking questions about Bruno Fernandes and all of that. Like, yeah, I'll score this press conference. Out of 8 questions, they scored 6 over 8. So that's a good score, considering how they flopped some of the questions in the last couple of weeks, where they've scored 4 of like 6, 4 of like 8, 4 of 9 questions. I mean, you go through press conferences, you try to get a sense of what is going on at the club. But this one, I think they really got a good one with regards to how they answered, how they asked the questions, and what Michael Carrick said. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to all things Manchester United. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye and God bless.